What's going on, YouTube? James Prigioni coming at you. It's March 17th today. Just giving you guys an update. I wanted to show you guys what I'm doing today. You can see how the mustard greens are just taking over. They're just planted really dense. So what I'm doing today is I'm going through and I'm chopping all the mustard greens down, giving more room for the plants to come up, for the other plants to come up, and going to use these mustard greens to compost. I would chop and drop, but it's planted so densely, and my compost pile is behind me, so it's not too much work to just bring it to the compost pile and just compost it like hot compost like that. So the mustard greens served a lot of purpose. We've been snacking on them. They provided shade. They helped bring up the other plants. They helped provide a lot of decoys for the pests to eat. So they did their job. So now we're going to cut some of them back and let the other plants come through. So this is what it looks like before, and then like this one, I came through and I chopped the mustard greens down. So I only left their flowers in some of them so they could kind of bring in some bees and insects like that. So that's what it looks like after. I just got to go through and chop all the mustard greens down. That's how much I did so far, throw in the compost pile. So show you guys what it looks like when it's all finished. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, this is back after I trimmed up this little patch from the mustard greens. And from that little patch, I mean, just a ridiculous amount. Let me just show you. Yeah. Oh, I'm setting the light. Just all this from that one patch. So I mean, I can't say too many good things about the mustard greens. They're incredible biomass accumulators. I mean, if you don't have mulch and you want to grow your own mulch, I suggest growing mustard greens. They grow so fast, and also they're edible. You can eat them. They're pretty delicious. I mean, I can't eat all these, and I'm just gonna keep getting more because we have them all throughout the yard. So we just use most of these to pioneer along. I didn't realize they grew this fast, this vigorously, and this great. I mean, like I said, biomass accumulators, they're food, they flower. You can see here, they're bringing in bees. They provide shade for other plants, so they help pioneer along. And also, another thing is they help build soil fertility. For instance, I came through and I didn't pull the roots out for the mustard greens. As you can see right here, I just cut it back to its stalk, and that means that it's got its roots down there. So all the nutrients that its roots pulled up from the soil, the kind of nutrients that other things like spinach, carrots, lettuce, cauliflower, cabbage, things like that can't reach because they might have a little different roots. Now that those nutrients are going to die, the nutrients in the root are going to be available for the other plants to absorb after the root dies off. So also helps build soil fertility. So mustard greens, I think, are great, and you can't plant enough of them because you can always come through, pick them, eat them, help clean it out. And now as a result of that, you can just see there's a lot more variety of like cauliflowers and spinaches and lettuce and carrots and things like that, and then peas and stuff over there. But things are coming along, so the mustard greens just really helped pioneer that along. And I'm going to go through the rest of the garden and pull out some of the overcrowded mustard greens. But I'm leaving all the flower heads on, obviously, so that we can bring insects and bees in and pollinators and such. So thanks for tuning in, guys. So as you can see now that we pulled the mustard greens out, things in this cell are looking a little smaller. It's not looking like it's not that dense like it was, and that was the purpose. This is looking great in my opinion because the mustard greens just provided the shade for the plants to come along, and now that they're established and have the nice root systems, things like this cauliflower over here and this spinach back here, they're going to really start blowing up because they have their leaves now, so they can start photosynthesizing, so they're really going to start taking this sunlight in. And I think, in my opinion, they're just going to start blowing up. And what they're going to do is just going to fill up all the void space because the plants just want to help block the ground from taking in the from taking in the sun, because that kills all the microorganisms and stuff. So they're just going to stop all the UV rays and block it with their green leaves. Essentially what's going on over here. This is what will happen. It'll just fill up to the point where no sun will get through. And you can see down there, it's just all shade. So that's what will happen. And bring you over here, this is where all the mushrooms used to be. And now it's just covered, it's blown up since the mushrooms have started that mycorrhiza association now that they send out their spores. But we've got some finished radishes in here, so probably pull some of those. You can see the mycorrhiza really grows beautiful radishes, and they're so juicy. It's just full of water. So that's great. But what we do too is this big beetroot right here. Like, that's growing pretty nice, but you know what, I want that nasturtium and that carrot to grow. So I'll come in and I'll just pull all these leaves off, basically kill off this beetroot, and what'll happen is the other plants will fill that space in, and the beetroot will just die off, and all the nutrients that the beetroot pulled up from the ground from being having a long taproot and being a good deep nutrient accumulator, they'll help pull up the nutrients and leave them in their roots. So they'll die off, and the other plants will be able to absorb them. So they'll just kind of help build the fertility also. So that's what we'll do with that. We won't get a beetroot harvest from that, but we'll be harvesting the carrots. They'll get even better because of the nutrients from the beets. So that's what we're going to do with that. So we're just kind of putting a lot of plants out there and choosing where they do best. So we have a lot of options, and wherever things are doing best, we'll let that grow. Like that nasturtium's doing good. We got a fly up there. We just have all different kinds of wildlife and little things growing on and running around in here. So things are coming along. Just wanted to give you an update. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I think Prigioni's out.